Ubisoft claims Skull and Bones is something called Quadruple A. Devs and publishers argue over Subnautica 2, and Helldivers 2 is too hot to handle right now. Ash is sick. I'm Matt Simpson. This is GINX News. When Ubisoft dropped Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown at the beginning of this year, people were stunned. Hang on. Ubisoft releasing a really good game that isn't open world, has no microtransactions, and shows actual signs of innovation and creativity? Heh. The world is healing. The Skull and Bones beta is open to everyone right now, but many are unhappy. Not at the game itself, which, despite being in development hell for literal years, seems to be pretty good by all accounts. But people are quite rightly upset by the fact this is a full-price $70 game that also has a bunch of microtransactions stuffed into it, for no other reason than to take more of your money. During a conference call with staff, one person was inclined to question why this was necessary. CEO Is Guillermo's response was to just make up a new term and hope the questions went away, which has gone about as well as you'd expect. He said, "You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run." That's right. Skull and Bones is now the world's first quadruple A game. Yes, 4 whole A's. Count them. Wow, we truly are living in the best of times. Look, I'd love for Skull and Bones to be a massive success. Ever since Assassin's Creed Black Flag, there's been a clamour for a great seafaring pirate game with similar mechanics. And I get that this has taken years to make at a cost of millions, and I'd imagine a lot of wasted effort and resources. But Ubisoft, that's your fault. You mismanaged the project, so don't ask your customers to cover the cost of your mistakes. Guillermo also mentioned the fact he was disappointed by the sales of their first big VR title, Assassin's Creed Nexus. I mean, everyone and their mother knows VR is, and probably always will be, a niche product. But you can imagine he and his team of terrible executives... He and his team of allegedly terrible executives who fostered a workplace environment of sexual harassment and abuse of power thought VR would be a real money spinner. So wait for a year down the line when Ubisoft tried to make you pay for that failure as well. Subnautica is one of the most beloved survival crafting games of all time, exploring a vast ocean teeming with wildlife and mysteries of what lies in the deep. It struck a chord with many players. And whilst we got an expansion of sorts in Below Zero a few years back, fans have been clamouring for a fully fledged sequel. And whilst the game hasn't been officially announced yet, publisher Crafton discussed the existence of Subnautica 2, calling it a multiplayer sequel to the original IP, pursuing fandom snowballing. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. Usually reveals like this leave fans clamouring for more info, but not in this case, because Crafton went on to say Subnautica 2 would be a Games as a Service title. Games as a Service means microtransactions, looter-shooter mechanics, grindathons, battle passes, season passes, loot boxes. Doing that to Subnautica would be an absolute travesty. Thankfully, the game's developers Unknown Worlds were quick to post an update addressing gamers' concerns. They said, in reference to Games as a Service, we simply plan to continually update the game for many years to come, just like the previous 2 Subnautica games. Think our early access update model expanded. No season passes, no battle passes, no subscriptions. The game is not multiplayer focused. Co-op will be an entirely optional way to play the game. You will be able to enjoy the game as a single player. It's not a great look that a developer and publisher clearly aren't on the same wavelength when it comes to a game's messaging. I suspect that Crafton added Games as a Service to make rich idiots foam at the mouth without thinking of how everyone else would respond. As for Unknown Worlds, I suspect they won't be glad to be thrown under the bus like this, and you have to wonder how long that working relationship will continue. But I'll tell you what is a good relationship, the one between us and you. We give you daily news, you hit that subscribe button and drop us a comment. Pretty sweet deal, don't you think? The long-awaited sequel to Helldivers, aptly named Helldivers 2, came out yesterday, and it's fair to say it's been a bit of a mixed bag. It was the highest-selling game on Steam, hitting over 80,000 concurrents, which is pretty good. And whilst I haven't played it myself, it does seem like a decent third-person shooter. The problem is, it's all a bit of a mess. Players are reporting widespread matchmaking problems and crashes, which is even more frustrating seeing that it's a 4-player co-op game that's really difficult to play solo. So when there are connectivity issues and players can't have a full team of 4, it becomes a nightmare to play. To developer Arrowhead's credit, they've quickly acknowledged the problem, admitting that they're in crisis mode as they try and sort it all out. A hotfix for Steam has already been rolled out, and the game's director, Mikael Eriksson, has said it should improve matchmaking for PC, and it also includes other crash fixes too. It's currently sitting on a mixed rating on Steam, with most of the negative reviews seemingly down to these issues, and the game's use of NProtect GameGuard anti-cheat, which is one of the worst available and has access to all of the players' computer files. There's no word yet on a hotfix for PS5 players, but by the sounds of it, Arrowhead are on it. Let's hope it all gets sorted and players start enjoying what looks like a pretty fun game. Have you jumped into Helldivers 2 yet? Or have you had issues with NProtect? Let me know in the comments. And that's it for today. Hopefully Ash will be back on Monday, as I'm too busy to keep covering for him like this. Like, comment, subscribe. Now go away.